And today's gratuitous food shot is hamburger. So if you're watching this, I've got my channel back. Hooray! Yes, it went largely unnoticed by a cold, uncaring world, but for the last month or so I've had no access whatsoever to my YouTube accounts. I got copystriked, copy-stricken, copyright blitzed. Is that because I did something heinously illegal? You guys know YouTube better than that. I did nothing wrong at all. But that didn't stop a company from simultaneously hitting me with no less than 15 copyright claims. Which, as I'm not a YouTube partner because my audience is 4 people and a dog, instantly shut down my channels. And not just my review channel where I posted the content in question. Because I'd linked the accounts via Gmail sign-ins, this vlogging channel was also shut down. All my channels terminated, just like that. Even my random gaming account that I've had since 2006. Every single video on all 3 channels was abruptly and seemingly irrevocably deleted. So what happened? Well, you see, my review channel is mostly about literature and high art. So other than a few randoms looking for something to plagiarize for their homework assignment, it honestly doesn't get a whole lot of traffic. And it doesn't help that the videos there take weeks to put together. So I wanted some, easy content to spice it up. And a few years ago I used to have an anime and manga review blog that was, well, vaguely successful back when people preferred written blogs. I was still updating it with manga chapter reviews every week, so I thought, hey, why don't I make those impressions into daily videos instead? I could very quickly and easily put together a week's worth of content, which I was already writing anyway. And I thought as I talked I could have a few pages pop up to illustrate my reviews, coming from the perspective of an English PhD. It wasn't highbrow content, but it was very easy to churn out, and it just started to get a little bit of traction as I uploaded reviews of a couple of chapters each day. Enter shueishachizai@gmail.com, a somewhat infamous email address in circles that discuss manga video reviews and false copyright claims. Yes, the same email address that sent copyright strikes that temporarily took down the much larger channel Anime Uproar at the end of last year. Now they obviously got their channel back in the end, but seem to be uploading to it substantially less now. Nobody really knows for sure, but it seems very unlikely that shueishachizai@gmail.com is really a representative of Shueisha, who are the publishers of Shonen Jump and a huge company over here in Japan. Would a company like that really use a Gmail address for this? And unilaterally take down channels without any kind of communication, warning, cease and desist, or any other activity? Most seemingly theorize that this is actually a bot that searches for relevant titles and issues copyright strikes regardless of the content, in the hopes that it captures the revenue from monetized videos. Or if it is legitimately from the company, takes down video files that are simply the manga pages one by one for people to read. As far as I can tell, nobody has ever received any actual communication from this address, so we can't be certain, but the claim that this is not in any way an official Shueisha entity seems believable to me. And as should probably be clear from the way I've phrased things so far, I don't consider my videos to be in breach of copyright in any way. Obviously there are different rules about fair use in different regions, but my videos showed only selected pages to illustrate points and could not be construed as a substitute for reading the chapters on Shueisha's website or in the magazine itself. They were always offering transformative commentary in the form of criticism, prediction, or edifying references to certain storytelling or world-building techniques that are familiar to me from my academic background. And certainly there are perfectly legitimate large channels that make similar videos that are, if anything, far less transformative, yet apparently fine to monetize here on YouTube. Just the other day, a video auto-played after I had been watching some content about The Boys, the series on Amazon, and the impression I got was that that video was over 5 hours, essentially explaining what happened on each and every page of the comics, one by one. Now, I don't know if the copyright holders have ever sought to remove that sort of video, but I certainly felt that if it was permissible, my videos absolutely were too. Now, YouTube does not make it easy to do anything about this kind of action. And until it happened to me, I had no idea that this kind of copy strike would mean that videos I uploaded over a decade ago would, on a completely different account made before Google even acquired YouTube, get terminated too. But that's what happened. You get a little link to appeal the decision, but if it's for copyright reasons, you just get immediately rebuffed. Instead, you have to seek out instructions for giving a counter notification. It is quite straightforward, but it has quite heavy legal ramifications. You send the copyright claimant certain information, including key legal phrases, and are encouraged to put extra information justifying the claim in, though it's not really necessary or advisable to do so. Then the other side, the ones that made the claim, has to demonstrate that they're actually going to take you to court over this in order for the claim to be upheld, which a mysterious Gmail address seemingly never does, and if you're watching this, clearly didn't in my case either. And in this way, frivolous claims can be overturned through a system that, yes, YouTube has set up to facilitate doing it in a simplified manner, eventually. After YouTube forwards your counter notification to the claimant, which itself takes 3 or 4 days, they then have up to 14 working days to submit notice of court proceedings having been initiated. So basically, if your channels get taken down as mine did, they won't be back for around a month, even if you've done nothing wrong. Now obviously there is a little more protection for larger YouTubers. Somebody can't just claim they own Mr. Beast's videos, send 15 copyright claims to his channel and have him immediately shut down. Once you're monetized, you do get a warning period where you can fight the claims before they affect you at all. So looked at in a pessimistic way, I guess it's all my own fault really for having such a pathetic small channel. But for years, even big creators on YouTube have been saying that copyright claims are a huge problem. From Alinity apparently copy striking PewDiePie to H3H3 going to court when the creator that they criticized used copyright as his main reason for just having their video taken down. Seemingly there is actually no need for the person who claims that they hold the copyright to actually demonstrate that they hold the ownership to YouTube before the copyright notices are issued. Now not only does this make it a huge inconvenience in cases like mine, it's really open to abuse by bad actors as quite a powerful tool for harassment. As part of the legal process is to reveal your name and address so that if necessary legal documents can be served, we can imagine a situation where, for example, a stalker uses copyright strikes in an attempt to coerce their victim into revealing their name and address. And on the other hand here, to be fair, since YouTube does have to defer to legal authorities to maintain their safe harbor status, and the law does require real names and addresses to be exchanged in most cases anyway, it's hard to see an alternative for them. But I'd say that demonstrating original ownership of the copyright ought to be the bare minimum here before making any copyright claims, as well as for more guidance for creators who might find the process opaque and daunting to be readily available. Still, in the end, I got my channels back, 2006 uploads and all. But this was a lot of hassle, and if those strikes were indeed issued by a bot, if I keep making the same kinds of videos, even if I could go through the same defense again, it's simply not worth it to lose access to all your channels for a month. So, well, I won't make those videos anymore. I won't review anything from Shueisha on YouTube, at least not until I'm in the partner program, and even then not without months separating the videos, just in case. Videos that I've already made that weren't dinged by Shueisha, I guess I'll make private so that they can't just repeat their claims on those videos and restart the entire process. I've even read that this supposed Shueisha account, presumably from this same email address, has put claims on videos about Shingeki no Kyojin, which is published by Kodansha, a totally different company. You know, essentially it seems like these manga companies are extremely claim happy, probably automating the process. And while larger companies can presumably fend them off quite easily, small channels and small creators from whom they won't even make any money are going to be just greatly inconvenienced by even arbitrary incorrect claims that can be countered. To be honest, I was getting tired of making those videos anyway. They gave me a false sense of satisfaction. Like I didn't need to work on other better videos if I was getting one of those out each day. Which isn't at all what they were meant for. They weren't really on brand for what I want the review channel to become anyway, so it was a good time to end them anyway, I guess. What a huge hassle though. How little YouTube seemed to care. But until there's a viable alternative, there's little incentive for YouTube to change. And despite these same criticisms about copyright being leveled for years now, thus far no good competitor has come along. And challenges to the big online platforms these days seem to be getting less and less likely to topple the titans, as we learned from the Mixer debacle. Ultimately, things have turned out okay. They certainly could have been a lot worse, but undoubtedly I wish this wasn't how the system operated, and it's quite obvious that there are going to be many small channels that just quit because this has happened to them, their whole channel has disappeared, and they don't see any recourse because it's not made sufficiently clear to them how the process works. Will anything change though? Well, not unless YouTube is in some way incentivized to value these smaller voices, which everything it's done in the last 4 or 5 years suggests heavily it's not incentivized to do. Oh well, I still enjoy making videos and I don't think there's anywhere else I can reasonably put them, so I'm gonna continue. Somehow that doesn't feel like an alpha Chad move, but what choice do I have? Okay, that's all I have to say about that. I've actually got some ideas I'm really looking forward to for this channel, so please stay tuned for those. And I'll talk to you again next time. Bye bye!